Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Safari LTD release. This is the second to last of the brand new 2024 releases that I have yet to review on my channel. We've got the Nanuqsaurus, and this is one that I was absolutely looking forward to. Maybe one that I was looking forward to the most overall. Well, kind of a toss-up between this and the Megalosaurus, but I think it looks super nice here in person, and definitely one of, if not the best versions of a Nanuqsaurus that currently is out on the market. You know, we do have a few others out there, but this one, in my opinion, has got to be one of, like I said, or not maybe one of, but I would say maybe the best overall. And I do want to give, of course, a shout out and a thank you to Safari LTD for being incredibly cool and sending this one over to me for me to check out for you guys, again, completely free. So thank you so much to Safari LTD. Cannot wait to dive into this one a little bit further. And speaking of them, if you are interested in grabbing this, because this is currently in stock on the Safari LTD website, you can use the code ANDY at checkout and save yourself 15% off on this figure or any other figures on there that you might be interested in grabbing. But again, you can see it looks really nice here at first glance, so let's jump to a closer look and we'll check it out from there. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Nanuqsaurus, one thing you can pick out straight away is the really nice scale detail that you can see here. Those kind of larger scales that you often see on Tyrannosaurs, you usually see in the snout area near the jawline, and you can see that here on this one. You can also see some pretty nice looking skin texture here as you move back around the eye. We have a dark grayish tone for the majority of the skin texture that you can see here in the face. As you lead further back, of course, you do start to see some feathering and stuff pick up. You can see the white tone of the body kind of run up here into the snout a little bit as well. We can see the nostrils sculpted out quite nicely, the eye as well. The eye has a gorgeous blue with a nice black pupil, which is also really quite nicely done. And we can also see that dark grayish tone down here on the lower jaw as well. Obviously, the Nanuqsaurus is sculpted with its mouth in an open position, giving us a nice little chance to look at the teeth and everything. And as you can see, all of the teeth are sculpted individually, and I think they look really quite nice, honestly. Overall, I love the fact that they are all sculpted individually and painted individually, painted with kind of like an off-white, and I think that looks really quite nice. We can see the skin kind of stretching there as the dinosaur is opening its mouth, and on the inside we can also see the tongue sculpted out and painted with a pinkish tone. We can see the gums and everything all painted with that pink. And again, the same thing for the inside of the mouth on the upper side. It all looks really quite nice. As we begin to lead back here into the neck of the dinosaur, you start to see the feathering pick up. And I like the fact that we have this white tone, but you can also see that there's a gray wash that's been applied to the white areas to help highlight the feather detail, and definitely helps to make it look more impressive as a whole and more realistic. We also pick up this dark brownish tone that begins to kind of pattern along the back, along the spinal column, and you can see it kind of stripes down along the side of the dinosaur while overtaking the entire back as well, at least as far as the upper part of the spinal column, and that looks quite nice. We also again have kind of larger feathering as you lead down into the body a little bit further. It just has like very emu-like feathering overall, and you can really see that as you lead down, just kind of like the waviness to the feathers, and again that gray wash really helping to continue to highlight the feather detail. As we lead down into the arms, you can see the feather detail becomes a lot more fine, especially as you hit basically like the elbow and then continue to lead down. It stays very fine overall. You can see the fingers there as well as you lead down. And then we lead back up here into the leg. You can see how this leg is definitely taking a pretty significant step forward, obviously kind of hiding a little bit of the stomach right there. Again, the feathers look really, really nice as you lead down. I love the way that they kind of turn. Like, that just looks so elegant in my opinion. And again, the gray wash continuing to highlight that feather detail as you lead down. You can see the knee. You can definitely make out the fact that that is a very muscular leg without actually seeing the definition of the musculature. And then as you lead down, you've got some nice scoots moving down the toes. You've got the nails sculpted, painted with a black tone, and again, a gray for the foot entirely, because that's the same color we have basically for the skin in pretty much every area of the figure. And then as you lead out, you can see again the feathers continue to have that very emu-like look. Again, as far as like the shagginess to them, we also continue to have that brown leading the entire way out through the tail and then striping down, again following along the spinal column of the dinosaur. And also some nice curvatures to the tail, which you can see when you kind of change positions. Get a nice look at the nice curvatures of the tail. Nothing overly dramatic or unrealistic in my opinion. When you look at it from the opposing side, obviously you can see the head's turning away from us now, so you can kind of see a little more stretching in the neck for the dinosaur over here. As we continue to lead along, you can see this arm is outstretched a lot more than we see on the opposing side. Like, you can really see how much further out the arm is stretched, and again the fingers as well as the claws and everything sculpted out quite nicely right there. But as you lead back, you can see again the detailing of the feathers in the stomach, because now the arm's kind of leading forward and the legs trailing a little bit over here, giving you a much better view of the stomach. And again, how nice that paintwork is for the feathering. I think that gray wash was a perfect touch to highlight the feathers without overtaking the white tones of color of the body. But as you lead back, you can see again that nice muscular leg, the foot sculpt again. As you lead down, you've got the scoots down the toes, and then we again lead up here into the tail with the nice curvatures. So overall, that is definitely a really nice looking version of a Nanuqsaurus, and I'm really excited to now have one in the Safari LTD line. As you can see, the Nanuqsaurus also stands really nicely overall, but as far as a size for a length from the tail to the snout, you're looking at about 9 inches or around 23 centimeters. For a height, the highest point is definitely the tail. A little bit over 3¼ inches, heading toward 3½, but not quite there, or pretty much 8½ centimeters on the dot. For a size comparison, there is the absolutely incredible feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex from Safari LTD, which you can see is obviously quite a bit bigger than the Nanuqsaurus. And maybe one of the most fun comparisons I can give you would be with the Eutyrannus from Safari LTD, 2 feathered tyrannosaurs, again looking really cool next to each other, but obviously the Nanuqsaurus is a bit larger. And then, of course, one of my favorites from Safari LTD, we have their newer version of the Carnotaurus, which you can see is just a bit bigger than the Nanuqsaurus, as well as the incredibly popular Safari LTD Baryonyx, which you can see is kind of similar in size, but obviously not quite as beefy as the Nanuqsaurus. And then one of my all-time favorites from Safari LTD, we also have one of their older Allosaurus figures here next to the Nanuqsaurus for one final comparison. So this brand new 2024 Safari LTD Nanuqsaurus is definitely really fun. Honestly, when I had first seen this one revealed, I remember really liking it. There was just something about this figure that really drew me in, you know, outside of the fact that obviously it is a Nanuqsaurus, which is really cool in its own right, but just generally how nice the figure looks, the pose, the color scheme, everything looked really nice on it. And of course, here on the final product in person, I can say the same is definitely the case. It looks gorgeous from head to tail, in my opinion. The feather detail looks really nice. There's a good bit of variation to the sizes of the feathers, but still staying kind of emu-like and shaggy through the course of the entire body. And the skin textured areas as well look really good as far as the actual sculpt and everything. And of course, the paintwork. The paintwork and paint scheme is really nicely done, and I love the fact that they've applied that nice grayish wash to the figure through the course of the body to help highlight all of those nice white feathers. That was a really nice touch on the part of Safari LTD. And of course, that dark brown patterning moving along the back helps to add just a little bit of extra, a little bit of flashiness to the figure as a whole. And of course, the pose is pretty cool, making it look like it's maybe in the midst of a confrontation of some kind. Definitely, again, a really nice pose as a whole. So without a doubt, definitely a figure worth picking up. So if you are interested, as I mentioned earlier in the review, I have a code that you guys can use. Use the code Andy at checkout on the Safari LTD website when purchasing this and save yourself 15% off. So I will include a link in the description to where you can grab this right now from the Safari LTD website. Again, don't forget to use the code Andy and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.